honestly, Pumpkin Man is kind of my alter ego because it's like it's how I wish I was,
Right, right.
I've seen you going into like
Yeah, getting the
cafes and
pumpkin spice
stuff.
latte and all
Yeah,
that cool
that's
stuff.
funny. Hey,
All
hey,
right. Hey
Hello.
guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good,
good.
good.
Yeah, so you got, and also we're recording. We just go ahead and hop into this thing, Uh,
Perfect.
I'm Taylor. This is John. I don't know if you how you see it on your screen, but the one in red's John. I'm Taylor. So
How's it going, Taylor and John?
good,
Pretty
good.
awesome.
And you're Ryan, and this is your wife, correct?
This is my wife, Janae.
Janae.
Awesome,
Okay.
awesome. Well, I got the I'm in spirit. I got the pumpkin head ale going on.
Excellent. Perfect.
Yeah, I don't have that. But I do have an orange mug, so we're good.
Perfect.
Um, so pretty much, so what happened was I watched Pumpkinhead Demon of Fall, and I was like, whoa, this is stupid cool. Everything about it, to like the effects, the just the filming in general, I thought was really, really well done. And then that kind of escalated to me going down through your page, and I'm like, holy crap! Like this is never ending of goodness. Like you guys have so much going on, and I just really wanted to get you on here just to kind of. And John, we were just talking too. He's got a few questions.
Yeah, I
So
really want to go over the
yeah,
timeline here, man. Like where this
It's a long one.
where this premise came from, when it started, how you came up with it, how long it's been in the works with all the, because it seems like a lot of these are all kind of connected, these films, and um, a lot of the things on Selfridge films are all kind of, the Book of Kürbis, all that.
is
Um,
it pronounced Kürbis?
It is pronounced Kürbis.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying Crumpus, but I'm
Crumpets.
like, but I'm dyslexic, so
Yeah, so I kind of want you guys to start from the beginning, where the premise came from, and how you got to where you are now.
Well, I'll take this because it started before her. So this started as a class project in film school. I went to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, and I got assigned a film, short film as one of my class projects. So I had a shared love of slasher movies with my buddy and roommate Jeff, and I've always been a huge fan of horror and Halloween. So I was like, I want to make a pumpkin-headed killer. I think it'd be cool. And then we were lucky enough to shoot with a local haunted house,
cool.
and that kind of like elevated mine above my submission for this class project, kind of elevated it above everyone else's. And then I remember there were some people that were really pissed off at me because they were like, what the hell, man, we did this the night before. And I'm like, well, sorry, we found a cool location and we decided to go for it.
Where was that? If you don't mind me stopping, where was that location? How'd you get permission for that?
So that was a locally owned haunt in Muncie, and it was called the Oregon Trail. And I was buying props for the short at Spirit Halloween, and the manager noticed that I just kept coming in like over and over and over and buying more stuff. And one day she stopped me and was like, "I have to ask. Like, I've seen you in here multiple times. What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I kind of explained, that I'm a film student and what I was doing, and she was like, "Well, my son-in-law, Michael, he owns the Oregon Trail here in Muncie. Would you ever be interested in filming at the Oregon Trail?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, funny enough,
Right.
yes, I would
Right place at the
absolutely."
right time. That's awesome.
Yeah. So she got me in contact with her son-in-law, and then if you go back to the original 5 Pumpkin Man short films, the guy who plays Creepy the Clown in those short films, he is that is the owner. That's Michael Kine. And he just kind of became part of it.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Cool. Cool. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Now that was a good story. Good side note. Let's pick it up where we were.
So yeah, so I made the first one, and Jeff decided when he took the same class, he was going to make this the second one. And he and we had a lot of people that were at the Oregon Trail. They all became like really good friends with us, and they started watching these two short films that we made, and they like really liked them. So we were like, okay, let's kind of shoot for the stars and do a bigger one, which was a half an hour, which was the Pumpkin Man 3. And we just kept cranking them out and kept going until I moved to Florida, and then we couldn't really make them anymore. And then I have a million notifications going on. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So then I moved to Florida, and then I started dating Janae, and it had been like 2 years since I had made a Pumpkin Man short film, and I was like kind of itching to do it again. But this time I wanted to like just reboot it all, rework everything, because it was very much like a slasher movie, with a knife and a rubber mask and all that before, and I wanted it to be more like a demon, a creature. And I basically went to Janae and I was like, hey, I want to give this one more shot. And she was like, all right, let's do it. And her sister is an actress, and we grabbed her. We filmed a few just for a few days.
It was like 2 days for
Yeah.
that short film. Because
Okay.
we used one location in Jacksonville at a park that had this like kind of historic looking house. And then the second half we shot in our apartment down here in Orlando.
Yeah, so we made that short, and when I was done with it and exported it and watched it back, I was like, this is actually kind of good. Because all the other ones I look at and I'm like, yeah, they were just stupid videos that we made. But this one I was like, this one has like actual potential. And then we submitted it to a few film festivals, one of which Spooky Empire here in Orlando, and to all of our surprises, we won an award for the Florida Spotlight Award. And that kind of like that was the first time we were ever like, oh, we actually know what we're doing. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a
So
good
then-
feeling.
Yeah, and that kind of lit the fire underneath us. And then I also once again just happened to be at the right place at the right time. This manager at my job, we were on a flight to South Carolina, and he and I just kind of got to talking while we were on the flight. And I was like, yeah, I make horror movies and horror short films and stuff. And I showed him the Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall, and he was like, why haven't you made this into a feature? And I'm like, I don't have the money to do that. And he was like, well, luckily I do. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so that's kind of how this whole thing started, because he was just dumb enough to give a bunch of kids money.
So and that's what we were talking about. The feature's not out right now, is it? Like for
it is out, yeah.
is it?
Yeah,
so
you can.
So the Blu-ray, right?
Yeah, the Blu-ray is out.
But it's not on YouTube or anything.
No,
Okay.
it'll be released digitally in a few months, but right now the Blu-ray is what our distributor has released.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you guys have been doing film festivals this season, right?
Correct.
You
Yeah,
guys have won a couple awards, it looks like.
10, I think.
I think
Okay.
Yeah,
Dude.
A few more than a couple, I guess.
Yeah.
Round of applause. That's
Yeah, good
awesome.
job.
10 awards of all different varieties.
yeah, from best kill to best Florida feature,
Best
to-
horror feature in one. We just won best practical effects, and a judge's choice award, which was really cool. So yeah, I mean, it's surprised all of us how well it's been doing at the festival.
Wow. Like honestly, that's
you.
awesome. Very, very, very cool and exciting. I know it is for you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to know too, like I said, like I'm obviously asking a question because I don't know that much about the feature, because I'm like, I can't find it. I thought there was something, and I'm just like, I'm not tech savvy at all. So I'm not smart enough to go look through somebody's page and figure out what's going on. But did you guys keep the same look as the Demon of Fall, or did you change it up quite a bit?
It's yes and no.
Yeah.
There are things that are very similar to the Demon of Fall, and the Demon of Fall costume anyway was like a reference to the original costume from the original short films. And I changed that. That's like the thing that changed the most, because I wanted more of a scarecrow look this time around. So we put together a pretty convincing costume. It looks more expensive than it is. Really, it's just a Spirit Halloween costume and a Captain Jack Sparrow jacket. And
what's super cool is that we talked to a lot of indie filmmakers and stuff like that, and a lot of them are like Spirit, like Spirit's the shit, dude. Like
everything, man. Everyone we talk to, Spirit's like the main place to go, and the more people we talk with and have conversations with, and the more movies we watch in the indie film community, the more, now I'll go to Spirit and boom, there it is. There's that mask. There's that mask. There's that prop,
I don't know if you can tell, I'm a mask collector. So, and I go and buy them. Like like after I watch, because I'm like, this movie is fucking dope. I want that on my stand. So
right.
I've got quite a few just indie film masks that are from Spirit, and I love that aspect that I'm able to grab that.
So how about the mask itself?
So in the Demon of Fall short film, we went with composite effects, a silicone mask, and we were going to use that in the feature, but they were a little bit more, involved when it came to like licensing the rights to the mask to be able to use it in the feature. So I asked Immortal, because they had a similar mask, and I said the same thing I said to Composite, and I was like, hey, we're making this feature, what is involved with licensing and all that? And they were like, just give us credit, and that's all we ask. And I was like, okay, I'm good with that. Cool. So it's the same sort of style as in the Demon of Fall short film, but I prefer the feature film mask a lot more. I think I've come to like the character and see the full character with that mask.
That's the Immortal mask.
Yeah.
John, how heavy was it?
I was about to say, John just did it's right there behind him, Devils Are We, and his is pretty heavy, he says.
So with the composite effects, like it's a lot heavier, and it also like constricted my throat a lot more. Whereas this one, I just slip it right on. I could wear that. And I do wear that all day long when we go to conventions. I'm wearing that 8 hours a day, no problem whatsoever. It's super lightweight.
Were you the one? Did you play the demon? Did you? Cool.
I am the Pumpkin Man. I am director and Pumpkin Man.
How go into that a little bit of what it was like directing and having to play in the movie.
I'm gonna hand that off to Janae.
Okay.
So obviously my cinematographer and I kind of had concerns with that whole balance when we first started filming, but Ryan's primary reason for wanting to play the demon is because he's had people cancel last minute who are playing monsters, and those are such crucial scenes that we can't be canceling those. So he's like, I'm reliable. I know what I'm looking for in the character, so I know I can play it to be the menacing creature that I want it to be. So when he explained like that reasoning, I was like, all right, well, whatever you need, I'll pick up the slack if I need to. So there were times when, he was exhausted, and we were shooting this in the middle of summer in Orlando, Florida. So
gross.
It was 100 degrees.
Yeah, it's awful.
Anyway, and he's in full costume, so he's just, he would pull sweat right out of the mask. So he obviously was so focused on that he couldn't always direct. So that's when my cinematographer and I kind of had to step in and be like, okay, we're going to make the best decision that we know how, and kind of try to think like Ryan, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. But I think
she's not giving herself enough credit.
I think we figured out, like, I know his style. So we could kind of match what we thought he wanted to what we ended up doing. So
I will say this, there was not a single time where they shot something kind of filling in for me as director that I didn't love what they did. So she's not giving herself enough credit. Like her and Nick are able to kind of like take exactly what is in my brain. Like I feel like as soon as they read the script, they kind of understand what I'm going for. And and it's same with Tales from the Book of Kürbis. Like the Cat Scratch short film, I wrote that, Janae directed it. It turned out exactly as I had envisioned it in my head. So they like it's hard because when I first started doing Pumpkin Man short films, I wasn't in the costume, so I was able to have more control over everything that I was doing. But that was more just like directing the camera and not so much interacting with the actors. And I kind of felt it was a lot easier to interact and direct the actors as the Pumpkin Man, because I wasn't worried about what the shot looked like. I wasn't worried about what the lighting looked like. I was like, okay, I am physically in this scene, and I can identify what is and is not working for me. And I felt like that helped a lot, because the main thing that I wanted to work is the dynamic between the main characters and the Pumpkin Man.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm over here like choking. Janae, I said that right, correct?
Yeah.
Janae, okay. Did you go to film school or anything like that, or are you just learning from Ryan?
So, I mean, we both, around the age of 7, this was long before we knew each other, knew how to work a camera, would make short films it was his friends, it was my cousins. So we both kind of grew up knowing the basics of how to compose a shot and how to edit a video. And so I didn't go to film school, but I did go to journalism school, and I ended up doing some news reporting on TV for 3 years right
Oh
out.
wow.
So, that involved me shooting and editing my own news stories. So I was very involved with storytelling. And so I kind of knew how to help him translate the script into what he was looking for. Now, it's very different because we had all the time in the world compared to turning around a story in one day. But when you come down to the basics, it's kind of all the same.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's very cool of you guys to be able to get together, and it sounds to me like you're both like-minded and you have this passion to do this too. So it's probably really easy to work with each other at some points. I know how it is working with my wife when we do something we love. Sometimes we get aggravated at each other, but for the most part, like, you guys seem like you're bouncing off each other really well. So that's good.
Well, it took a while for Janae to actually like Halloween, but I think I finally got her there.
That's good.
Well, good. Hey, I've got a question too. I see you've got some pretty awesome shirts on. Who did those?
So here, I'll stand up so you can see it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So this is the artist is Casey Booth.
I know who
He
that is.
Yeah, he just is the most incredible artist. And I have told he did the poster for Pumpkin Man, and he did the poster for Tales from the Book of Kürbis, and he will do all of my posters going forward, because he is just, I mean, like, I was scrolling through Instagram trying to find a poster artist, because I didn't want to just make one in Photoshop. Sometimes I think like just Photoshop posters look a little tacky. I wanted something hand drawn that like really felt like it was made in the 80s, because that's literally the whole point of the Pumpkin Man, is like a throwback to 80s slasher movies. And I mean, he knocked it out of the park. It's such a cool design.
Yeah, it definitely is, man.
It really is. I love. Yeah, I'm a big art guy, John. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm a huge art guy, and looking at your art is really what draws people in too. You got to make sure you have the right image. So, and we have an art guy as well. He did did John's poster behind him right there, and whenever we brought we call him Alt. Whenever we brought him on, the game is just starting to change. I mean, the art is really where it's at. So
Yeah, super important.
Go ahead, John.
Legitimate.
Well, I wanted to know too, two things, two-parter here. Do you have any plans in the future for something more with this project and this story? And do you think if you do move along with that, would you play Pumpkin Man again?
So actually, we just announced this morning on our social media that the Pumpkin Man 2 is officially in.
Nice.
So the title is The Pumpkin Man Harvester of Souls, and absolutely I am playing the Pumpkin Man again.
That's a cool name. Yeah.
Cool.
Shit, I had a question.
So you don't mind the work then, man. You're a worker. You would rather have it done right with you than have anybody step in there and fill those shoes.
So yes, but there's more to it than that. Like I love playing the character. honestly, Pumpkin Man is kind of my alter ego, because it's like it's how I wish I was,
Right.
I've seen you going into like
Yeah, getting the
cafes and
pumpkin spice
stuff.
latte, all
Yeah,
that cool
that's
stuff.
funny.
But the real reason that I will continue to play Pumpkin Man, aside from my own personal feelings, is more of a safety reason. I am on stilts when I'm playing Pumpkin Man. I am tall, and we don't want to sacrifice that height, but we also do it for, like, insurance reasons. Like, I feel comfortable taking on that risk and not being insured to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do a production and have to pay additional insurance for somebody walking around on stilts. So I'm willing to take on that risk all myself, because I over the last 2 years I've taught myself how to walk on stilts. I'm totally comfortable. I can run on stilts now, and I don't want to feel worried behind the camera.
Is there a video of you running on stilts? Is this a thing?
At the end of the movie, I'm lightly jogging on stilts,
I
but
wouldn't.
it just needs to be a flat surface. And but we were filming at a local haunted trail here in Florida, and the ground is very uneven, so I don't feel comfortable running there.
So did you ever tank it?
Not yet.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good to hear.
On purpose.
Right. Now I see, the second you got someone else on those stilts, they'd probably go down.
Yeah, it's a liability thing. I agree with that. And plus, you're doing awesome as it is. You know what that character is, so that's what.
I think the version that Jeff Rhodes played in the original 5 Pumpkin Man films had his own, like, quirks and charisma and stuff, and I ditched all of that, and now this version of the character has his own quirks and charisma, and I don't really want to go through the process of trying to make sure somebody else nails all of that when I can just do it myself.
And I feel like so few people could get the nuances that he's created with the character down, that it just makes sense for him to continue playing it.
Plus, I also think, because we go to conventions quite a bit, and I think people that are actually invested in this and have seen the movie, bought the Blu-ray, I think they get more joy out of knowing that the person who played the Pumpkin Man in the movie is the person that they're interacting with at the conventions. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because I love going to cons, and meeting people like that right there definitely makes it more what'd you say, personable? Is that what it is? That's what it is. Yeah. So real quick, tell me, is there a way to purchase the Blu-ray right now?
Yes. If you go to screamteamreleasing.com, and if you go to our Instagram, the link that's in our bio is the direct link to go purchase the film.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy that today.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do too.
It is available on VHS as well, if you're interested.
Who did your VHS?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I didn't even know that our distributor was making them until I saw it on the website, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that right now. That's too cool.
Do you have one available to see?
I don't. It's actually being delivered next week. But
okay.
So it's Scream Team Releasing that is making the physical copies as well. They're distributing and making them. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, and they will have our merchandise up sometime soon.
Yes.
So like shirts for both the poster shirts, a convention shirt that we were selling, and Tales from the Book of Kürbis.
And they should also be selling our Pumpkin Man hot sauce, I believe.
Oh.
Ooh, okay. All right.
That's cool. That's like
I
full
see
party
you guys.
massacre.
I see you guys. Yeah.
And a Reaper sauce, and it is delicious.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I also I want to touch base before we had to wrap this up. I want to touch base on the Book of Kürbis. Did you guys write all of those? Like, or is it, go into that right there for me.
So I wrote, there's 6, right?
6.
Yeah. I wrote 5 of them. Our cinematographer Nick wrote the one titled Lady Gwen. And those came from a place of desperation. Because we were originally going to release the feature film in 2022. And when we signed our distribution deal with Scream Team, they wanted to really release it in 2023. So we were like, okay, we have this small but decent following that is anticipating the movie coming out this year, and now we have to push it back an entire year. How can we keep the hype alive for the next year? And one day I just was like, why don't we do an anthology series? Because if you saw the Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall short film, when she's reading through the book and doing the little incantation, she lists off a bunch of creatures. So I was, what if we just made a short film based off of all of those creatures? And we decided that we were going to do 6 of them, release the first one in December, and then lead it all up into the final one in May, which we released for halfway to Halloween, which basically that short film, Kürbis Awakens, leads directly into the first scene of the Pumpkin Man feature film. So like did an interwoven and all sorts of cool stuff.
So have you thought about doing like a Blu-ray anthology of all those?
So actually it is available on like as a 45-minute anthology feature on the Blu-ray for the Pumpkin Man. So by the Pumpkin Man Blu-ray, you're also getting Tales from the Book of Kürbis, which that's the feature version, which is all of the short films tied together with a narrator introducing all of them. So you kind of get an additional feature right alongside the Pumpkin Man.
Okay.
Documentary as a bonus feature as well.
Yeah,
that was like 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's a 50-minute long. So basically, there's 3 features on the Blu-ray.
Oh,
wow!
Bang for your buck. I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I went through all of them. You guys did Alone too, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was a blast from the past.
Yeah, I just like, because I had been through, since I started talking to you, I was like, I'm gonna kind of watch the rest of their stuff, and just periodically I'll throw it on when my kids are being good for once, and like I can watch a little something. That's why I like shorts so much, because it's so easy for me to get that in my brain real quick, and then I'm like, okay, it's over. Good, that was awesome.
Plus, it's hard to keep his attention.
Yeah. But so I actually watched Alone today. I don't know why. I seen that one and I was like, I don't think I've clicked on this one. And yeah, it was good. And you got a lot of awards for that one too.
No awards, actually, just nominations.
Okay.
But I have a love-hate relationship with that film, because I mean, I think last time I checked, I think it was like at 109,000 views, which is still our most viewed video. But if you look at all the comments, all of the comments are just the worst comments. Like everybody is that film, and like it again. That was a class project, and every time I see a negative comment about it, I'm like, it's just a video, guys.
Yeah. It stings every time too, man. I've gotten a few of those comments on my film on YouTube as well, and it stings a little bit every time. And you're like, what's the big deal? Like, why? Well, you can't just be like, I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
They got to really dig deep. It's a weird thing.
I mean, they could, if they didn't like it, you're spending more time on the page commenting. Just leave. Like it's all good. But I don't care about negative comments, and I've taken a lot of the criticism I've gotten from that film, because that was in 2016. I've taken all of that criticism, applied it throughout all of my films. So I do my best for characters not to make stupid decisions. Of course, there's only so much of that you can do in horror, but I try my damnedest to make sure that no one's dumb.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, it's that helps with the drive too. You see those negative comments and you want to do better, and makes you a better filmmaker, a better writer, probably just gives you more drive. So that's good. That's good that you're using it to your advantage.
A lot of stories coming out of your brain. I like it. I like it a lot.
He has it's all in here, but he has ideas that could last us 50 more years.
Do you write them all down, or you just kind of like? How do you?
It depends. If it's good enough, I'll write it down. But for the last 2 years, we've been full Pumpkin Man mode. So I've just been creating the entire story, because we're shooting for a trilogy. Hopefully we'll get there. But the Pumpkin Man 2 is definitely happening. And we just wrote that script, and I already have the rest of the story. You know, the part 2 is only half of the finale, you know, and
Yeah.
so part 3 is all in here. I just need to put it down on paper.
So real quick, we got to wrap it up soon. We're getting close to the end now. I do want to know, your investor, is he, she, they are proud of you? What's, you know,
His name is Jason P. Herman, and he is
what a
Cool
good name.
name. Yeah, cool name.
and he, you know, I think that he expected it to be a lot worse than it was. And I think more he has seen the awards come in. We did a premiere in a movie theater, and you know, hearing the applause when the credits rolled, and seeing some of the reviews come in, I think, you know, his confidence in both us and his willingness to front more money for the sequel and try to get more investors for the sequel. You know, I think he's very, very proud of the product that we've delivered.
And he may not every shoot, but he is at pretty much every convention we go to. A few weeks ago, we had to miss the awards ceremony for a festival right here in Orlando, and we just said, hey, can you go on our behalf? And he did.
Yeah.
Like, he isn't as involved as I think he wishes he could be, but he is involved as much as he can be.
You actually, so you watched all the Tales from the Book of Kürbis shorts, right?
Yeah.
The Christmas one, he's the boss. He's the guy that gets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that's like, fuck you.
Yes.
Right?
The Witch's Brew short film that I'm in, I shot that first, and then I sent it to him, and he was like, I have to be in one of these. You have to kill me. This, I mean, it's just too much. And
I like how you portray him as like this dickhead, you know?
Yeah, and he's nothing like that. I mean, he's the nicest, most supportive guy that I've ever met. He's a really, really great person.
Well, that's awesome. So if you guys travel to cons, I'm in Nashville area in Tennessee. So if you ever come up to Nashville, please let me know. I want to meet up, get pictures, and all that good stuff.
I'm hoping next year, you know, like this year, definitely, you know, we're sticking to Orlando, but I really hope that next year we can start going to some of the bigger cons, and even if we don't have a booth, just showing
around.
Yeah, just showing up, because
you need to go to what the hell's that one up in Jersey, John? That good one.
Just the
Scarefest? Is that it? I can't remember what it is.
They got a couple too.
Yeah, I'll let you know. There's one up there that is just, I mean, God, I've never in my life been to one so big, you know. And like you said, even if you don't have a booth, you just get up there and walk around, dude, you're gonna draw some attention.
Well, that's been the best part of attending those like the conventions so far. We haven't been to a convention where the movie has been out. So like having such a great response from people, and you know, like people running up and wanting to take pictures with the Pumpkin Man, and just like being fully invested in everything that we're doing. And then like we didn't even have a movie to show for it. Like, you know, we didn't say, we couldn't be like, oh well, the movie's out on Blu-ray now. Like we had nothing, and we didn't even know when the movie was coming out. So like having that reaction from just the character alone is like the greatest part about all of this, because we realized last year, we're at this point, we're not selling the movie, we're selling the character, and people really like the character.
There you go. John and I talk about that a lot. We got to sell ourselves before we can sell anything else. So, and you've done well at that, sir. I love the shirts. I'm excited. I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray. We've got about 0.3 seconds left before the dinger goes off. So, anything else you guys want to say?
Just follow us at Pumpkin Man Film and check out all of our updates and all that.
Yeah, you guys can purchase DVD, Blu-ray. You can get a signed Blu-ray, screamteamreleasing.com. VHS, you said. And did you say that you're going to be selling merch as well?
Yeah, we sent all the merch to Scream Team, and they should be putting on their website.
Awesome. Well, I'll probably be grabbing one of those too. I'm sure Taylor will as well. And really appreciate you guys coming on. Check the candy, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
me. All right, guys. See you later.
Yeah. Deuces.